Just waiting for that record button to turn red. A little slow today. Come on. It's taking a long time. There it goes. Okay. So hello and welcome to this mini webinar series on time-saving tips during remote learning. Most of the tips I'm going to share with you today have to do with using Google products and your Chrome browser. There's definitely tons that you can go with other resources, but I figure most of us that signed up were G Suite schools, so that made the most sense to kind of share those with you. It's a quick half hour, so I'm going to dive right in. I will share the slide deck I'm going to use today with you, so you'll have all of the links. Actually, I'll do that first before I even share my screen so you have it. Let me grab that. This is recorded, so a copy of this will be available later today. There's a Google Doc, excuse me, if you haven't gotten a copy of that yet, I can make sure you have it. That's where I've been putting all of the resources every day. All right, let me take a sip of coffee and see if I can clear my throat. All right, so here we go. That sounds better. Okay, so let me hit entire screen here. And then we're going to go over to the slide deck. So I've been having a lot of fun with the Bitmojis. I'm working on a workshop that's coming up on using the Bitmoji. So I've been playing around with them and using them in different ways. So you're going to see a lot of different Bitmoji scenes as I go through this week as I'm prepping for that one. So the idea here is to talk about things that save time during remote learning. So some of the tips and tricks that I use that kind of speed things up, because I get asked that all the time. Do you work 24 hours a day? And no, but I have a couple things that really help save me time throughout the day. And I've got very fast at some of them, so that definitely saves me time. I did embed some music into some of these just for a little fun. So in the chat, put in any song you can think of with the word time in the title. And we're just gonna have a little fun with it today, just to kind of keep you engaged and do a little something different. But I am gonna be playing some music with you. So go ahead and drop in any word, any song title that has the word time in it in the chat for me as we get started. So we're going to switch over to our first time-saving tip, which is keyboard shortcuts. And Peter, you were already kind of mentioning some of these. Ditch that textbook, and this will be linked for you. If I click on it, it's going to go out to a PDF where you can print it. And what this printable does is you can just cut out that strip, tape it to your monitor, and you'll always have it available to you. So that way you can kind of see what the shortcuts are for some of the favorites. But I'm going to show you some of my favorites. I also gave you a link to the actual Google support that opens up and shows you all of them, so you'll know what you're on, what they are. So the big difference is if you're on a Chromebook, you use Control. If you're on a Mac, it's always Command. So, but here's a link to all of those shortcuts for you, so you can kind of go through that. So I did an update on my Chrome browser yesterday, and now I don't have my tabs at the top, and it's driving me crazy. And I've been researching to try to figure out how to get them back. So if anyone knows that shortcut, please share with me to bring back all of my tabs. I have to keep minimizing to get my tabs. But let me show you some of my favorites. So when I'm doing a slide deck like this, where I have all the slides and I want to use the same background over and over again, if I hit the plus, it's going to put it back to whatever the blank slide is. So that's not what I want. I want to continue and use the same one. So if I'm highlighting the tab that I want, I hit Control or Command, depending on what device you're on, and I hit D. And when I hit D, it duplicates that slide for me. So let me just go here and add one. So let's say this is the one I wanted to do again, over and over again. If I click on that tab and I hit Command D, you see how all these hellos are coming up underneath. So that's how I quickly I just make 10 or 15 of them. I know that I might have to add more or take out some, but I always figure most of my slide decks are somewhere in that range. So I'll do 15 to start, and then I'll edit as I'm going through. So that's one of my first favorites. Another big one that I love, and I got to make this small so you can see this again. Let's say I closed out some tabs. So let's say I closed out these 3 tabs. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I need those tabs. And we do this all the time, right? So if you hit Shift Control or Shift Command, depending on your device, and then you hit the letter T, it will bring those tabs back. So there's the 3 I just shut down, those will bring it back. This one is great if you're in the classroom and you have students. They often will shut off tabs, as you're coming up, or by accident, or their friends think it's funny. Those kind of things do happen. This is a quick way to bring those tabs right back up. It used to be right on the tab when you right-clicked, you had it there, but that for some reason that button went away. But you can still use Shift, Command, and T to bring back those tabs. While I'm on here, let me show you what happens when you do right-click on a tab. So if I'm back over here and I right-click, so if you're using your trackpad, that's a 2-finger click, or if you're using a mouse, that's your right-click. You have these other options at the top. You can open up a new tab to the right. You can move your tab into a new window. You can reload the tab, duplicate the tab, pin the tab. And what that means is you'll notice how I have all these like little ones here. If I right-click and I pin, it's going to keep it more locked in, so it's less likely to be lost. And I can also set my settings so that way every time it relaunches this Chrome browser, it keeps all of those tabs pinned. I can right-click and then unpin if I don't want it pinned. If I go back into the right click, I have another MacBook. I can send that link right to my other MacBook. If I need that to be able to do that, I can close other tabs, and I can even close all tabs to the right. So a lot of times when I'm doing these presentations, at the end of it, I have like 20 extra tabs open and that I don't need. I'll just click close tabs to the right and they're gone. If I need to bring them back, again, I can hit Shift Command T or Shift Control T, and it's going to bring back each of those tabs for me. All right, in the order that you deleted, they bring them back. Really a huge time saver for you, that little one. Another one that I use a lot is, let's say I am out at Google, so google.com, and I'm going to look at images. So I'm going to pull up an elephant here. And I'm going to go into images. And let's say I only want a piece of an image, right? Fair access, you're not going to be using, or fair use, you're not going to be using a whole one. Although you can, under tools, just so you know, click on usage rights and do labeled for reuse, and then you're safe to use these pictures. But let's say I pull up this picture and I only want his face, all right? I don't want the whole picture. I can hit Shift Command 4 or Shift Control 4. And what that does is you'll see I get this little like crossbar, and I'm going to left click and drag out just the part I want. And when I let go, it takes a picture, and you'll see that picture just came up. So I just took that top half of the elephant there. All right. So if I only want a part of something, it's a quick way to do it. So let's say I'm on a website. So I'm on Newsella, let's say. And I'm looking at an article. Oh, I like Wonderopolis better because it brings me right to an article. So let's go to Wonderopolis. So let's say I just want this question, but I don't want anything else on the page. I can hit Shift Command 4 and just take the picture of the part that I want. As soon as I let go, it takes the picture. But if I want the whole page, let's say there's this document here and I want this entire page, I can hit Shift Command 3 and it takes a picture of what's on my screen. So if you're ever in a Zoom meeting and somebody says, oh, I took a picture of us, that's probably what they did, was to take that whole picture. Just make sure if you're taking pictures, that you cite where you got them from or link them back to the resource. You don't want to get caught up on anything that you shouldn't be doing there. So that's a great one to use. So those are the big ones I use. I use the Shift Command 4 all the time to snip little parts of things. When I'm going to be creating different things. I like to take parts of images, or maybe I just want the logo that's there and I'll just grab it that way. So that's a quick one. The other big ones I use are the copy and paste ones and the cut and paste ones. So let's say I have this little picture of an elephant here, right? And let's say I want this picture, but I want to put it on another slide in my slide deck. I'm not going to go out and search for this picture again. That just takes too much time. So I'm going to hit Command C to copy or Command X to cut. And then when I want to paste it, I'm going to hit Command or Control on a Chromebook V, and it's going to bring it back. All right, so Command X gets rid of it, Command V brings it back. And this will work for font, or anything on your screen. Anything that you can highlight, I can cut it and I can paste it. Quick little keyboard shortcuts for you. Let's see if there's any others that are on the list. Those are ones that aren't quite on the list. but they do allow you to highlight. Oh, the other big one that I use a lot. So let's say I'm in this article here and I'm looking for a keyword. So I want to find out every time they use the word accomplish or something. I'm going to hit Control or Command F. I get a little find box at the top, and I'm going to put in the word accomplish. Well, that wasn't a good one because it's only there once. So let's try Galileo. Galileo. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I put an extra L in there. Galileo. Okay, so now it's going to show me all 35 times that that word shows up on this document. So as I go through, it will highlight every time that word shows up, and I can go through and find it. So if you're ever in a long PDF or a long document that you need to find a specific thing, this will save you time. This will save your students a ton of time if they're looking for keywords in an article. So I use that Control or Command F a lot. Let's see. I think those are the big ones. There's others, but I gave you links to it, so I just want to move on just for the sake of time. So keyboard shortcuts is my first big one. The next time-saving tip that I have is organizing your Gmail. The big one I use is Unroll.me. So I get a ton of ads, and I sign up for every newsletter from every ed tech company that you can imagine, and it gets overwhelming because I get like 50 different emails a day. So I use Unroll Me, and what it does, if I go out to it, once you log into it, in the login process, there we go. Okay, so once I'm into it, I can see that I rolled up 173 resources. So these are things that have come in that I said, you know what, send it to me once a day. I don't want them to come in individually. So I can see all of those on here. Ones I want to keep in my inbox, I said 297 of them. I still want these to go to my inbox. But I might say, you know what, I want to change this to my roll-up. So I can click Add to my roll-up. And now it's been shifted over into a different spot. I also unsubscribed to 15 things that I didn't want anymore. All right, so I can always go through and say, you know what, I'm going to add to Robot. Maybe I want Apple Music to not send me anything more. I unsubscribe, and those change. You can always edit your subscriptions under the edit one, and you can choose what you want to do with each one. All right, as you're going through. Then once a day, you get a newsletter in your inbox of the roll-up that comes in under Unroll.me. And you'll get this once a day. Oh, maybe I deleted them all. Maybe it doesn't. Unroll.me. There we go. So you can get this today's roll-up, and it will give me all of those emails. Instead of coming in individually, it gives them to me as little images that I can click on and go to. Easy way to save your inbox. It also is a nice privacy one, a secure one to unsubscribe to things you don't want anymore. In your inbox, you can see right now I have my unreads on top, but if I hover over and I click the little down arrow, I can change it so that I have tabs, and this will help organize what information. So I have no direct emails that have come in unread. Under my social, I'll get all the social media ones. Promotions, I'll get those newsletter things that I may not want. Updates will give me notifications, and then forums are things that have been sent to groups. So I can always do that. All right. So, and then definitely explore your settings. Peter, did you have a question?
Yeah, I must have got lost at the beginning of that. Unroll Me is what? An app?
Yeah, it's a website that will help you organize your inbox. So you choose how you want your email to come through. So let's say if you get like, I get like 50 emails a day from different companies. If that is bogging you down, this is a good way to save your time. If you don't get extra stuff in your inbox, then you don't need it.
But you had tabs to classify all your emails. How did you set that up?
So in Gmail, what you do is you click the little down caret, and you can click it to default. And then in your settings, which is in the little cog in the top right-hand corner, if you click on configure your inbox, you can choose which tabs you want. I click them all. But let's say you don't do social media, you can pull that one out. And then anything that would typically go in the social media one will go into your primary. Same thing with promotions. Anything
How does it know to go there?
Primary. What'd you say?
How does anything know to go to which tab?
It's machine learning at its best. It's artificial intelligence working based on the mass email list that it came to, how it was sent to you, where it was sent from. It organizes it for you. And as you go through, it'll tell you under updates, when you hover over, the updates will be your personal auto-generated updates, confirmations, receipts, bills, and statements. Forums are things that come from a mass email distribution. Promotions are going to be your deals and offers. Social is going to come from social media. And primary are those person to person. It organizes it for you without you having to do anything else. Definitely a nice time saver. All right, moving on. The next time saving tip 3, when you're doing Google Slides with your students, all right? Oh, and I forgot to show all your music. I'll do it after. Okay, so on the bottom left of your screen, we're looking at all of the slides in my slide deck as individuals, kind of like your edit mode. But let's say you assigned one slide to each student and you want to be able to see all the work they're doing all at once. You can shift it over to grid view and you can see all of your slides that you have in your slide deck and you can watch the students do the work. So it's a nice time-saving tip if you've assigned something and they're all working on it at the same time, where you can have a view of each student and what they're doing. And you can see that I put an animation on each one, so you can see that it does keep up in live time. It's not like a snapshot of it. It's literally showing you as the work is being done. So it's a nice way if you're collaborating on a project with your students to see everything that's going on. Another great way to save you time is the Explore feature, which is that little icon in the bottom right of your screen. When I click on it, it's going to give me options. So if I was doing a basic slide, it's going to give me some organizational ideas. If I'm looking for images, it will give me safe search images that I can drop right in. It just gives you a lot of options right on the side in the side panel for you. And then you can also start with slide templates. I don't tend to use them. Sometimes I do, but Slides Carnival is great. Slide Model has some free ones, but they do help kind of keep things organized as you're going through. The next big tip is in Google Drive. So this one was a big time saver for me. I'm terrible about remembering, or finding things in my Google Drive. So I'm just going to come over to my Google Drive here. And I'm going to go over to my drive. So you'll notice I have a ton of folders. I have a ton of things that are, once it loads, I have a ton of things that are just loose. I'm terrible about organizing it. So I have all these folders, but I have tons and tons of things that are not filed away. So what I've gotten really good at is using the search at the top. And this search box has been an absolute game changer for me because you can search it different ways. You can remember what you called something. So maybe I put in Bitmoji. And it'll search through my entire drive and find anything that's related to a Bitmoji for me. I can even narrow it down. If I click the little down arrow, I can click on type and say, I only want to have photos of Bitmojis. And when I hit search, it's only going to show me photos. All right, so I can always do that. The other thing that I do sometimes is I'll know that I created something, but I can't remember what I called it. But I can say, you know what, I did that last September. I can put in September 2019. And it's going to show me every document I ever created in the month of September. Easy way to remember what I did. Or maybe I did this last Christmas and I don't remember what I called it. I can put in December, do the same thing, and it's going to show everything that you have. Quick, easy way to find your documents. Apparently I did a lot of videos in December. So you can certainly take a look at it there to organize it. You may also notice that some of my, my folders have emojis and different fonts. You can change those by using a couple of little extensions I'm going to talk about because they're fun. And the other thing was color coding. So you notice some of my folders are different colors. When you right click on a folder, click change color, you can change the color to be anything you want. I highly recommend that you actually choose what the colors mean. I just make mine pretty. So I do it more with the titles than I do any organization. But if I was still in 6th grade, I'd probably have reading be a color, writing be a color, passion projects be a color, that kind of thing, and organize it that way. So you can certainly do those kind of things. All right, moving right along. Another big time-saving tip are Chrome extensions. And I put on some of my favorites and then one that I don't use, but I thought could be handy to other people. When I was in the classroom, I used Noisely a lot. It's a silly one, for some, but for others, they really like it. And what it does is it puts sounds on your screen for you. It's like background sound. So this one's a relaxing one. Productivity is going to be a little noisier. All right, random's just going to pick things. And then you can actually go through and change the way the sounds are. Maybe like the coffee shop sound. You want to slow down the wind. My students hated the what do you call it? There's one that does lightning like sounds. They don't like that one. But you could do different things with storms and different things like that. So it's just a way to kind of give you some of that soft background noise to keep you functioning, keep you creating. That's Noisely, and it is noisy. The other one I use a lot and I think would be great right now with remote learning is Classroom Screen. And they have a new site, which looks very much like the old site. But what you do is you can sign in and then you get whatever random background and you can choose your backgrounds. They're all here. So if you want to have, one that has motion or whatever, you can pick that. You can add a random name generator. So you paste in a list of names and then it will randomly choose one for your student. You can do dice. You can do 1, 2, or 3 dice and it will roll them for you. You have, you can add a QR code if you want students to have access to your screen. You have a drawing tablet, so you can write right on here and do whatever you need to do. You can do a text box and type in any words. And again, these can be moved anywhere along the screen that you want to create your actual classroom screen. It has a traffic light, it has a timer, stopwatch, clock, calendar. All of these are built into it. You decide which ones you want and which ones you want to take out. So it's a nice, easy way if you're sharing your screen to do some interactive activities with your students. So you can roll the dice with here. If I trash that, I can do 5 plus 4 equals, and I can ask the students to answer, or something like that. However I want to do it there. So Classroom Screen is a super fun one to do, I think, with home learning. The next one I put out, I don't use this one, but people have told me that they like this one, is the Stay Focused one. And what it does is it gets rid of all the visual noise on other sides of your screen. I can focus and ignore that, but if that bothers you or bothers your students, this is a great Chrome extension for you. Wakelet, I did a session on Wakelet recently. What Wakelet does that I love is I have the Chrome extension for Wakelet. So right now, if I go out to a new tab, it's going to say, you have all these tabs open. Do you want to create a collection with those tabs? I click here and it immediately creates a collection of all my tabs. So it saves it all for me. The other great thing that it does is, let's say I'm on this page and I want to save this article about Galileo. I click the little Wakelet button on my Chrome extension and I can save it to whatever collection I want to save it to. And it will automatically save that for me. So if I want to save anything that's on my web pages, it's a good way for me to organize those into collections. So Wakelet in and of itself is a full hour workshop. So I can't spend a ton of time on that one, even though I'd love to. But Wakelet has some great resources for you to do that there to save you time. The other one is more of a fun one, and that's the Bitmoji one. You just click and drag out the Bitmojis you want to add a little flair to your pages that you're doing here. All right, time-saving tip number 6, split screen. This has been the #1 thing that I've taught during these sessions is how to split your screen. So I always do it by minimizing, and then I just slide from the corners, all right? But I don't have to do it that way. I can do it from 2 different Chrome extensions. So right now I've opened this back up. I have one that's called Dualis, all right? And you can see that you can change how your screens are going to look. So if I do this one, it's going to open up all my tabs in different ones, and then I can click and drag anything out. If I go back into Dualis, I can say, no, I want 2 side by side, and it's going to do that for me. So you kind of play around, find the one that works for you, however you want to do it. And you can see it has some other options and settings and that kind of thing. The other one that works really well, let me close this because I'm opening up a lot of tabs here. It opens up as new tabs. The other one that you can do here is, let's say I have these screens and I want to just split screen. Let me see, that's this one. I can say, you know what, I want 2 screens next to each other. And so then it's going to pull the screen I was on out and then keep the other one I had open off to the left. And then I can choose the sides that I want. So there are different Chrome extensions that immediately create the split screen view for you. So I can see you guys and I can see my tab that I'm working on. So those are two fun ones for you there. The next one, I have a session on Google Keep next week, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one either. But if I come out of Google or out of here and I put in Google Keep is your Post-it notes, or but they're digital. So you can take a note, you can change to different colors, you can add checklists, you can collaborate by adding collaborators to your notes, so that students can share notes between different groups, however you want to do it there. If you're in your Gmail, so if I pull this out more, your Google Keep is right on the right-hand side. I click on it, it immediately opens up to Google Keep and shows all of your notes, and you can take a new note right here, time-saving tips. And when I hit done, it's going to save that on the Google Keep site for me. Really great extension for you, or app for you. The next one is, if you don't want to use Classroom Screen, and we did a session on this one already too, is Jamboard. So let's say you're on a remote learning session with your students and you want them all to share information. Jamboard is great for that. You know, it's a great app as far as getting everyone collaborating, everyone sharing, getting all of their ideas out there. So I mentioned how to pin tabs. I want to show a little bit in the settings. So let me do that. So when I'm in my Chrome, and now I have way too many tabs open. Oh, the other weird thing, when you use the Dualis one, it unpins your tabs, which drives me nuts. I want them to stay pinned, but it unpins all your tabs. So I'm just going to right click and pin the couple that I want to make sure I keep right here. All right, so I'm going to click the three dots in the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to go down to settings. When I click on settings, it's going to open up a lot of information that you probably don't want to spend a lot of time on, but you can take a look and see all of the different things that are here. So if you don't have a browser that opens as Google and you want it to be, you can change this. All right, you can have it open in a new tab page, however you want that to be, you can change it. Your appearance, if you click on that, you can change the size of your font. Your zoom, you can set your defaults for different things that you want on here. So there's some different features that can help you out as you're going through to make sure that you're, you know, kind of doing things what makes sense for you. So you can go through and take a look at some of those. All right, bookmarks. I use bookmarks, but I don't like them, if that makes any sense, because I find they get lost. I use Wakelet over bookmarks, but how you bookmark something is you click the little star, and then you choose which folder it goes into. And then from there, it saves it for you under the three dots into more tools. And no, up in bookmarks, it shows all of the things that you've bookmarked. If you use Command D, it will bookmark any page for you. So, oops, I just duplicated the page because that was highlighted there. So from here, I can create a bookmark at any point by hitting Command D as my shortcut. Did I make 9 twice now? Yeah, let me delete that out. Okay. All right, last one. In Classroom, you can create a comment bank for your grading assignments. I'm giving you the directions on how to do that because we're going to be out of time to be able to show you that. But Google Classroom has a comment bank that you can create and use, so it will save you time when you're giving feedback to all your students on their work. You can add, like I said, those cool fonts and the emojis. You can do them in Google Classroom too, and I set up a couple to show you. If I go out to Classroom and I go into this one, you'll see that in the stream, I changed the font so it was bold, and I added in some emojis. And then in classwork, I renamed some of my topics with different fonts and even with some emojis. And how I did that, if I click on resources and I click the three dots and I click on rename, I can grab this copy. I'm going to go to cool fonts, paste it in, and then I'm going to find the font that I'm in, that I like, whatever one it happens to be. And you know, it could be anyone, whatever works for you and your students. You hit copy, go back into Classroom, hit paste, and you hit rename, and you can see that the font has changed. If I want to also add in those emojis, I'm going to go up to my little emoji Chrome extension. I'm going to grab whatever one I want for whatever it happens to be. Maybe I want the OK. I hit copy and I hit paste. If you don't hit paste, even though it pops in there, it doesn't save it. And you hit rename, and now I've got the little OK next to it. All right, we are at the end of the half hour. Good thing I didn't spend any time on the music. We would have run out of time. So tell me your favorite tips, things that I missed. I lost you. There you are. I had so many tabs open, I lost you guys. I'm going to just take a look in here. Oh, good. You got your times in there for your different songs. Lynn, what was your question? Is it just for Gmail, or can you use with other emails? The different tabs. Outlook has its own kind of set things, if that's what you mean. It doesn't work the same in each one. So,
okay.
Yeah, you'd have to look that.
All right.
Yeah. Kimberly, I'm with you. I prefer having more than one monitor, but I don't ever have that. So. Sorry, Peter. Lots of information in a really short period of time. I totally get it. I am actually running the session slower over a course of an hour through NiceGate. That's free as well next week or the week after. So if you check out my newsletter, it'll be on there, and I'm going to go through all of these more in depth. This was kind of a quick overview. All right, we are done with our hour or half hour. I'm going to hit stop recording.